Hi there, welcome to CasimodV modification software. Very easy, very friendly software to use. Right now we're looking at the dashboard. And the dashboard is going to give you access to your files. It's also going to give you access to an internal messaging system that will always keep you up to date as to what's going on with your case files. It does it automatically, which is great. You also have your sale dates within 14 days, so you'll never lose track of those files that are coming up with a possible foreclosure sale date, so you can go ahead and keep track of that. And then, of course, you have your appointments right here in the middle, so you can always go ahead and know exactly who you need to contact throughout the day. Now, the software is incredibly easy to use. We're going to go ahead and just enter a new file and then go from beginning to end, enter the file, provide a positive message for the homeowner, and then see if he's willing to move forward with our modification services. So I'm going to enter a new file. I'm just going to click a new file. Small panel is going to come up. We're going to go ahead and just enter some basic information. So I'm going to do right here. I'm going to enter the phone number. We're going to put in the street address. We're going to enter a zip code, which will automatically search for the city and the state for you. We're going to say that the property type is a 1 unit, that it is owner occupied, that it's not rural, does not have a notice of default filed on it. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and track it by a referral source if you want to do that, or you can just say it was a generic referral, a walk-in, or someone that just called us. So I'm going to select referral, and that's going to take us over to the application. And the application is very easy to work with. It's been designed in a color-coded format, so you know exactly which topics still need to be completed. Now, not a lot of information you need to collect. We're going to go ahead and ask the homeowner, hey, who's your mortgage with? So we're going to say Washington Mutual. Monthly mortgage payment is $1,500, $150,000 owed on the balance with a 7% rate, a 30-year term, principal and interest based. The software is going to ask you, do you want to go ahead and travel to the Fannie Mae or the Freddie Mac website to go ahead and see if this particular mortgage is in fact held with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. Just a few questions you have to answer for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, and then it'll respond and let you know yes it is or it's not. I'm going to say no in this example, so we're just going to say that it is in fact with Fannie Mae, and we're going to say that the mortgage is currently 2 months late. We're going to say that there's no second mortgage, and then we're going to go ahead and finish up here with property taxes and insurance. I'm just going to enter some basic information. And as you notice, as I'm doing that, the yellow highlighted areas are disappearing, and that indicates to you that you've completed that particular section. Now, one of the neat things on this application is it does have a built-in pre-qualifier. Very basic, but it's going to provide you with the basic payment that's available for this homeowner as you're entering information. So right here it says complete first, second mortgage information, and income to pre-qualify for HAMP. So we still got to do the income, which is right here. I'm going to say that he is working. We're going to say $3,000 a month gross, $2,500 a month net. We're going to go in and enter that, and guess what? Right there, subject to hardship, qualifies for HAMP. First mortgage payment would be estimated at about $930 a month, which would be a reduction of $670 a month. Now, of course, this is all subject to the documentation coming back from the homeowner that supports the information that was just provided to us. So that's very important to note. Now, in this case, if the homeowner wants to proceed, we need to go over to the worksheet so we can get into a little more details regarding that modification. So there's 3 more topics we got to complete. We're going to say assets, so we're going to say there's $1,000 in a checking account. We're going to indicate some expenses here that the homeowner is telling us about. Okay, we're going to move over to debt. We're going to say that there's a $100 credit card payment. $1,000 is owed on it. We're going to say that there's no installment payments at all. That's it. Now, at this point, you have completed your application. It's probably less than about 5 minutes. It's going to ask you, do we want to transfer over to the worksheet now? And on the worksheet, we're going to get a little more details regarding what that modified payment is going to look like. So I'm going to say yes. And as I do that, it's going to go ahead and validate everything, check everything, create the worksheet, and then go ahead and transfer us automatically over to the worksheet. And from the worksheet, we're going to have access to the HAMP waterfall technology that will indicate to us what payments are available for this particular homeowner. So when this comes up right here, this is what we're looking at, our modified terms. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click Analyze. That's the next step. So I'm going to click Analyze. Now note that the software is going to go ahead and make sure that you've got the correct information entered. This is not software that's just going to pre-qualify everyone. It's going to go ahead and make sure as much as possible that we are doing everything correctly. Now it's going to ask us, are there any escrow advances? Why is it doing that? Because escrow advances on the Home Affordable Mortgage Program, if you have those, they they have to be repaid over a 60-month period of time. They cannot be amortized over the life of the loan. So that's some of the neat features within the software. It's not just going to go ahead and qualify everyone and give you a payment based on 31%. It's actually going to go ahead and take a look at all the items that are reviewed by a lender, like escrow advances, if it's a HAMP Fannie Mae, HAMP Freddie Mac, HAMP FHA, different calculations if you're doing a HAMP FHA. Software will handle all of that. I'm going to say that there's no escrow advances at this point. We simply don't know. The homeowner doesn't know, but we're going to go ahead and adjust that number later on as we talk to the lender. So now let's return back to Analyze, and now we're going to go ahead and access that HAMP Analyzer right here. Here it is, the waterfall technology, 30-year, 40-year, 40-year with the principal balance balloon at the end. Anything that's X'd out means you don't have access to it. There's none of the programs that you can select on behalf of this homeowner. So what we're going to do, based on the guidelines, you need to be as close to a 31% debt ratio on the front end as possible. So I'm going to select the 4% interest rate with the $916 payment. I'm going to select that. That's going to be transferred over to the modification terms panel. So right here we have a principal, interest, taxes, and insurance payment of $916 a month. That's a difference of about $584 a month. Balance of $150,000, 4% rate, 360-month term. If you want to go ahead and do that, you can go ahead and change these terms manually, but at this point you've analyzed it in the HAMP waterfall technology, and these are the terms that the homeowner should receive based on the documentation supporting it. Now, at this point, if the homeowner is excited, they want to go ahead and move forward, we're going to go ahead and bypass some of the other functions that you can utilize, but I just want to show you how easy it is to work with this software. So, okay, let's move forward. We're going to go ahead and select print, and from the print panel, we're going to go ahead and go to the mail center, and that's where you can make a selection of various documents. You'll have access to an application, you have access to authorizations, 4506T forms, hardship letters, packages. You can go ahead and access checklists. We have access to the lender worksheets, which we keep up to date, so you just simply locate the particular lender that you're going to send this off to. And we also have the ability to customize any documents that you wish to have added to the software. Very easy to do. So basically what you're doing is you're simply going to ask your homeowner to sign and date the documents as they receive them, and simply return it with the supporting documentation for your analysis to make sure that they do qualify for that mortgage modification that you proposed initially. So now we've sent everything off. We can either print it, we can email it, we can fax it off to the homeowner. It's very easy to do. One more thing you want to do, which is very exciting about the software, you can go ahead and click conditions. We can go ahead and create a standard condition list, and right there we can go ahead and keep track of our conditions. Not only can you keep track of your conditions, but you can also electronically save them, so you can pull up those documents electronically from within the software. So you can image them, you drop them in a folder that's created by the software. You can go ahead and open that folder up, and in all times, and everyone can go ahead and see what those documents are and what they look like. Tax returns, pay stubs, hardship letters, anything you can drop in there, so you don't have to run over to the paper file all the time. Now, having said that, when I say everyone, you do have security rights on this software, so you can lock out people so they don't have access to this particular information if you do not want them to have access to it. So there's a lot of security settings within the software that can prevent that from happening. Very easy to use. You can add documents, you can go ahead and add conditions. It's very exciting. It really keeps you up to date and keeps you current, and it keeps you working forward, so you don't have to always look for that paper file. Now at this point, looks like we spent about 5 minutes maybe with the homeowner. We've got them excited. We told them what we can do. Let's go ahead and move forward. So really the last thing that you need to do here is you're simply going to exit out of the file. You can go ahead and schedule up to 3 different appointments. You can do a lender follow-up, you can do a file follow-up, you can do a client follow-up. You can even add these appointments to your Outlook calendar if you wish to do so, and if you have Outlook available. Very easy to use. So now you're just going to sit back. You're going to wait for that documentation to come back in from the homeowner, or you're going to schedule a lender follow-up if you want to verify some information with the lender. Having done that, we simply exit, we return back to the dashboard, and that's where you can go ahead and enter a new file or follow up on a scheduled appointment. CasimodV is so easy to use. Yes, modifications are difficult, but you also need the right software, and the right software that not only helps you stay organized, but it also helps you put together a modification correctly, not just based on a 31% debt ratio, because that's not always going to be the case when you're performing these modification services on behalf of a homeowner. Hey, thanks a lot for taking a look at the software. If you have any questions, visit us. You can visit us at www.casimod.com. That's www.casimod.com.